Blog Talk Radio.
Writing your book is the easy part. Promoting your book so readers can find and purchase it is the hard part. Welcome to the Author Chat Show, hosted by author-publisher Lynda D. Brown. Follow us at www.facebook.com/authorchat. And to contact the show to promote your book, contact me at theauthorchatshow@gmail.com. Stay tuned and listen to today's show.
You did not just do that. Good morning, and welcome to the Wednesday morning edition of the Author Chat Show. I'm your host, Lynda D. Brown. My guest today is author William Turner. William will be chatting with me about his book, A Murder in Our Midst. We'll be right back to chat with William about his book after a word from today's sponsor.
PrimeStar Publicity and Public Relations is a full-service firm ready to fill the needs of their clients. Owner Helen Cook has more than 32 years of publicity, public relations, advertising, and marketing experience, and she focuses her professional talents on working with her clients' strengths to create customized, strategic campaigns, whether their needs are great or small. Radio, TV, print, internet, publicity, marketing, creating a social media presence, branding, client positioning, author tours, speaking events. These are just some of the services PrimeStar provides for their clients. For a complete list of services and other information about the company, please visit our website, www.primestarpublicity.com, or email Helen at helen.cook@primestarpublicity.com, or phone 903-654-0938. PrimeStar's home office is located in the Houston, Texas area.
All right. Welcome back to the show. For those of you just tuning in, my guest today is author William Turner. This is William's first appearance on the Author Chat Show, and he's going to be chatting with me about his book, A Murder in Our Midst. William, welcome to the show.
Thank you, and thank you for interviewing me today.
It is absolutely our pleasure to have you on our show today to tell us about your book. But before we get started discussing your book, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, since this is your first time on our show?
As you are aware, my name is William Turner, and my family was, I was born in Birmingham, Alabama, and my family moved to Boston, Massachusetts, where I grew up. I attended parochial elementary school, parochial high school. And I do feel a little guilty because I think I probably sent Sister Agnes Bernard to a premature grave when she was teaching me English grammar. And I am forever grateful to that patient, tolerant lady. She mentored me, she believed in me, and she guided me through my academic career. And I'm forever appreciative. And yes, ma'am.
I said absolutely.
I retired as a supervisor with the state of California Workers' Comp, and I'm presently living in Quartz Hill, California, which is north of L.A., and I spend my time writing. And I'm almost finished with my second book, Death Comes for the President, and it should be in the publisher's hands by the first or the middle of August.
Awesome. So A Murder in Our Midst is your first novel, is that correct?
Yes, it is my debut murder mystery.
Wonderful. All right, why don't you start by telling us a little bit about your book? Tell us about your main characters and a brief synopsis of what the book is about.
A Murder in Our Midst profiles the friendship between an African American and a Caucasian. The only thing that they had in common was their home in California. Raymond Babant family lived in fashionable Pasadena. Robert Winchell's family was out of L.A. And when they met at Harvard, that was the beginning of their friendship. After commencement, Raymond returned to his home in Pasadena, and Robert became a police officer. But they kept in touch. They were so close; they were more like brothers, and it transcended race, cultural backgrounds, the entire shop. And Robert was passed over for what he thought were well-deserved promotions. Disgruntled, he decides to leave the United States and the LAPD and head for England. Okay. When he got there, he ran into the same bigotry. Despite his cheerful letters to Raymond knew him. So you know what, something is wrong here. So they used their international influence and found out that he was unemployed. Using the same influence, they got him a job with Scotland Yard, where Robert reached the top. He handled a case for the Queen of England and was subsequently knighted. Everything was going swimmingly for him. He received a letter from Raymond beseeching him to come right away. He needed his help. He stated someone in his family was trying to kill him. When Robert, he drops everything. He gets back to California, and he finds that his good friend was indeed dead. And he started to investigate. He uncovered other murders, all committed by different individuals, different culprits, but with a common motive. It will keep you guessing until the very end. Raymond's death left a tremendous void in Robert's life. That is the essence of the book.
Absolutely. Now, for those that are tuning in, I do want to remind you that this book is actually an historical mystery, and it's actually set in the 1950s. Any particular reason why you chose that particular decade to write to set your novel in?
Yes, because that was when America was in this turmoil, and it was the slavery, the end part of slavery, and racial tensions were quite high. And the book takes on a different tenor when you have an African American and a Caucasian who are absolute friends. What people don't realize today, and it is not to slam the media, but there are viable friendships between the races. And they would go to the mat for their friends. They talk about any and everything. It is not one of those friendships where you are at work, you say, you know what, I'm going to get me an African-American friend. I'm going to get me a white friend. No, you meet them at church, you meet them on the job, and you find that you have so many things in common. And the friendship develops from that. And there are some very strong friendships out there. And I think the book is very timely that will profile this.
Exactly. I totally agree with you about the fact, because I have an extremely dear friend that I really just met on the new job that I'm working, William, and you. I mean, you would have thought that we have known each other for years. When you put your color-blinded blinders on, and just really get a chance, and just really get a chance to know somebody, they have the
You know
same
that,
issues and
yes,
concerns that we all do.
right. You're not going to wake up in African American. You know what? I'm going to buy me a house in the slums. I'm going to send
Right,
my kids to a second-rate school. I'm
right,
not really concerned about crime and all of this. And you will find that the two of you can talk about any and everything without getting upset and all of this. You can
exactly.
talk about
Right,
racial
right,
issues. And so you turn
exactly.
around and when you have a friend of color or an interracial friend, is that when you become friends, you don't see color.
Right,
You are talking to a friend. You can have
exactly.
marital problems. You can call them. You know what? I'm having the same problem. Well, what did you do? I went to counseling. What did you do? I threw him out. I threw him out. And so the thing too is that you have you have so much in common.
Exactly.
But what is really striking is this: is that to have a male on male friendship, a female on female friendship, you run the risk. Well, I won't say the risk, but you sort of invite little snide remarks. You look at Oprah and Gail, and they question their sexuality and all of this. Men, it is more difficult with men because you know where are you going? I'm going fishing with my buddy. No, you're not. You're going to say here, no, that's my friend. I'm going. No, you're not. And if you go, don't bother to come back. But the thing too is this: is that when Robert and Raymond were extremely close, and one of my high school friends said, "Well, Billy, just how close were they? Neither one married." I said, "How did you get that?" But they did marry. I said, but it wasn't like some type homosexual relationship and all of this. They were just damn good friends, and
Right.
and
So
you know,
this is so William, this is not a 1950s era Brokeback Mountain storyline.
no, no, and
Exactly.
right, you know, you have it's a what you call it, this young impressionable African American coming out of L.A. in the 50s. He ends up at Harvard, and then when his father and mother they die, and he spends his summers back in California, but in an upscale city, Pasadena,
Right.
and he is in affluence, but they welcome him with open arms. And the most important part about the book is that he ends up investigating the family members of Raymond, those same people that he considered his family, and that
Right.
presented a most awkward situation.
Mhm.
And it was like he's confronted with doing his friend justice, finding out exactly what happened.
Right.
And we find that people, like we were talking, have identical concerns and desires and all of this. I had fun doing it.
Oh, I'm sure. Now the sequel that should be in the hands of your publisher by August. Is this
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Is this a sequel? I guess I shouldn't say. Is this a sequel to A Murder
Yes,
in
it
Our
is.
Midst?
Yes, it
Excellent,
is.
excellent. Okay, so we'll run into our main character, Sir Robert Winchell,
Yes.
again in book 2. Is that correct?
Yes, he is.
Now I'm going
And
to ask you a question,
yes.
and I know you. I'm going to ask you a question, and I know you did your research on this. So, and I'm going to ask for myself and also for some of my listening audience. So, Robert ends up going to England, and after securing a position through his friend, and he ended up doing something for the Queen of England, and she ended up knighting him. Are there
Yes.
actual black knights over there in England?
That I am sanguine that there are, but they're not high profile. And so it's like, you know, like we have black people from Scotland. We have blacks everywhere. And
Right.
so I wanted to add this novel twist is that I commuted from the northern part of, from Lancaster, California to Santa Ana. And I met quite a few people on the train. And it was one African American lady. Well, you get a chance to meet everybody and know everybody. And she says, well, I could not identify with the characters in your book. I said, well, I didn't know you when I was writing it.
Right.
And, and you're looking at the story content. I cannot write about the seedy part of L.A. because I was never exposed to it. I was not exposed to a profound romantic relationship. I was married for 6 years. I have a beautiful son that's married to a pediatrician. And but that type of profound love that just bowls you over and have your eyes rolling back in your head and all of this, I haven't had that. And if I were to write a romance, it's like the readers would immediately say, this author doesn't know what he's talking about.
Right.
And so I wanted to let people know that there are people of color who can rise to the occasion, who become disgruntled, fall down, get up, start over. They got this academic tutoring from one of the best Ivy Leagues in the United States. He has made friends with an affluent individual, and that affluence doesn't mean anything. It's the genuine friendship.
Right.
And he's handling not the mundane crimes and all of this. He's handling high-profile international crimes, and he is taken to different parts of the world to resolve it. And it takes the reader on a roller coaster. It was just like one of the conductor on the train. He told me, he said, it is one hell of a roller coaster ride. When we think we have it nailed down here, you bounce us over here. I like that. And he says it really does keep you guessing.
Those are phrases that we as authors love to hear. That and, oh, my God, I couldn't put it down.
Exactly.
Right.
And
those just make our really hearts soar. Exactly. Now, William, another thing that I really have to commend you on, I love this book cover. On the book cover, for our listening audience, if you go to Amazon.com, where the book is on sale in paperback format for $19.95, he has a foot with a toe tag on there, and the title is on the toe tag. That was brilliant. Now, did you come up with that, or did your publisher come up with that?
I would love to take the kudos for that, but it was my publisher. It was the only thing that I can take credit for is the story content. But I had one excellent editor. I'll share this with you. I am in California, and she called me. She says, Billy, I'm reading it, and I love it, but you cannot get from that part of the city to this other part using that freeway. I said, what? She says, I lived in California. No, this is the one that you must take. I said, whatever you find, correct it. And she started laughing.
That is funny, and I'm glad you shared that with me, because one of the things that we do on the show is try to not only promote authors, but to assist them in their writing endeavors. And that is so important. You know, where I'm currently working at, William, I actually work with 2 screens, and it was a bit intimidating at first to work with 2 screens. Now I absolutely love it. So now it's like, okay, now I got to get another screen for at home, because when I'm writing my book, I'm always doing research along, you know, sometimes if I run across something, it's like, you know what, I need to know exactly where that is. Well, I have to, you know, minimize my Microsoft Word, go into my internet, and then find the information that I'm looking for. Now, if I had 2 screens, I can continue to keep my book in front of me and go ahead and use the other screen to do my internet search. Right. So it's really right. So I mentioned that because it's really important when you're using real locations that you are very accurate in your descriptions, because people will call you on that. So I think it's great, absolutely, great that she called it and not one of your readers.
I tell you what, when I was doing Death Council of the President, in the church, we have this Air Force lieutenant. And I asked him a specific question. He says, Billy, what you described will not happen. I said, really? So I go on the internet, ask a pilot. He says, I will defer to your artistic ability, but what you are suggesting is absolute nonsense. And so I was laughing, and then something said, you know what? You will put it in the book, but you will state that the pilot was trying everything within his means to keep the plane from crashing.
Exactly.
He knew that it wouldn't work or whatever, but I thought it added a lot to the scene, and I kept it.
Right.
but it's like readers and writers. They should, well, writers specifically, before they approach a publisher, they must make sure that their work has been done to the best of their ability. They must also have it edited. You will spend some money to get it done because you want your best foot put forward. I shall never forget, I had written to a publisher, and I told them I was not looking to be published, but to ask for a critique to determine whether or not I have talent. But there isn't anything worse than trying to do something that you're ill-suited to do. And the lady told me, I was surprised I got the critique. And she sent me a one-pager. She says, yes, you do have talent, but I want you to do this, this, and this. And I did it. But you must be able to understand what they're telling you and follow their guidelines. And they must also understand and accept the fact that publishing is highly subjective.
Yes.
It's not a shoe-in. There are some excellent novelists out there who have yet to be discovered. Mm-hmm. You must use any means available to get your book out there and let the public be your judge.
Absolutely.
And don't give up and don't be thin-skinned when you are criticized. Accept it and use it to your advantage.
Exactly. That is so incredibly true. I can't express that enough, that what William Turner just mentioned is so incredibly true. If you have a story that you really want to share and you feel that it can really benefit someone, even if it's a fiction story, get it out there. Don't allow your pride, don't allow fear to hold you back. Just like Mr. Turner just said, do your very best work. Get it out there. Take it to somebody that can critique it or edit it. And I'm like you. I'm real big on making sure that it's professionally edited. And with so many people publishing nowadays, you have, especially with the self-publishing, you have a lot of people that have come in, ex-teachers that are now working with self-published authors to edit their work, and they do a great job with it. And you're not paying the high fees for editing that I saw when I first got into the business 5 years ago. The fees have dropped tremendously. But you definitely want to make sure that you have somebody that's going to do a really good job. Because just like how the lady that at the publishing company that read your book, they will nitpick about certain things that they see if they find that it's incorrect or that, the grammar's off, and they will put this in your reviews. And another thing that William Turner said that is so true is you have to have a very thick skin, because you are going to run into people that no matter what you put out there, they're just not going to like your book. But here's the secret. You can't please everybody. So
Mm-hmm.
read those reviews, take what you can from them to make it better. Anything that you can't use, if it's just somebody just being nasty, just let it roll right off your back and keep going. It's like you said, it's so many ways that you can get your book published out here, and to allow that fear or that self-condemnation to get in the way is just really it makes no sense, because like you said, it's just so many people out here that are doing it, and they're doing a great job with it. But William, I do have another question for you. The book, like I mentioned earlier, is currently available in paperback on Amazon for $19.95. Now, are you also going to release the book in the ebook format?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. Any idea when that's coming?
Yes, I am. And you know what? What you said is so true. And I don't want those would-be authors to be discouraged when they get those rejection notices. And, you know, another thing, too, is this. They have those books. I think it's writer's market. Publishers who are looking for certain genres. And you say, well, I've written a romance. They're looking for this. And then you shoot it off, and you don't hear anything within a week, 2 weeks, a month, and you say, I got someone's attention. Not necessarily true. And now that those rejection notices are becoming almost identical. Well, thank you for your interest, but not suited. But this is what you were looking for. And so, and one thing, too, is this, when we were talking about getting it edited, you might go to a person who has a master's in English. You get it edited. And then you're not meeting with success, and then you talk to someone else. They say, well, what you really need is editing. And the light bulb should go on. I've already had it edited. Now, why would I have it edited again? So don't be taken in and don't be gullible. Just keep plodding along, and then eventually you will meet with success.
You will, absolutely. Just this past week, just to put a shout out for my book, I received an email Monday from Bookworks. They're partners with Publishers Weekly, and it's for self-published authors, which I am. And and they actually nominated my book was actually the book of the week, My Invisible Enemy Story. And it's a Christian fiction book. It's based on spiritual warfare, and it was their book of the week. You could have knocked me over with a feather. This is nothing that I actually went out and tried to do or, nominated my book. It just kind of came out of the blue. And like your book, William, it actually came out in 2010, but it still has a long shelf life because if you can put something out there that people can relate to, I don't care how old it is, this is something that people are always going to want to pick up and read. Now, one thing about your book, it has been compared to one of my favorite murder mystery writers, and that's Agatha Christie. Tell us about, are you an Agatha, oh, wow, we're down to 90 seconds. Are you an Agatha Christie fan?
Most definitely. When I was in college, the first paper I got back stated that it's amazing at the high rate of illiteracy in the United States. I was floored. I went to Brother Newman and Brother Ward at Catholic Memorial High School in West Roxbury, Massachusetts. I said, what are they talking about? What is he talking about? You don't have style. I said, how can I get style? He says, he thought for a moment. He says, well, go to the library. I tell you what, read murder mysteries. Because they're so thoroughly descriptive. And I picked up Agatha Christie. And I started looking at sentence structure, plot, and all of this. And when I went back that Monday, I was ready. But little did I realize how highly influenced I had been by picking up Agatha Christie. And the lady was absolutely fantastic. I'm going to share this story with you rather quickly. Is that the woman loved her husband, but her husband was playing fast and loose. So what Agatha did, she disappeared. And the police thought that her husband had done her in. And they just raked him over the coals. And then she came back. I'm not dead. I'm very much alive, to his relief. And then that was when she divorced him after she had humiliated him.
Wow. And let me just say this. Here's why it's so important to be an active reader, as long as, especially if you want to write. What you said right there is something that I have mentioned, because I'm also a book coach where I assist local authors or writers with getting their books published. And I can't begin to tell you how many people, William, will tell me that, oh, I don't really read. But you want to write a book, but you don't really read. And then, of course, when I get that information, I'm not surprised when I notice that the book doesn't quite flow correctly. There's no rhythm to it, because no sentence structure, because they don't read.
People don't realize that having a degree in English or any background in English is that it does not qualify you to write a book. You must know the nuances of it. It's that short sentences speed the reader up. Longer sentences, you're giving information. You're explaining something. You're taking them on a tour and all of this. And those different things. And if you're describing a person top to bottom to top, side to side, there is order. You can't have the reader's eyes like going all over the map and say, oh, I'm getting dizzy. And you solicit advice. Allow someone to read it for continuity. Does it make sense? And have it professionally edited. Have it proofread. And then when you present it to the editor, I have done my best. I have followed my ABCs. And when you are denied, it will not be because of a snafu and all of this. Those days of the editor correcting your grammar is over. Let's start with Hemingway.
Yes, exactly.
And so, you don't know if the editor was the one who actually wrote the book and cleaned it up and all of this. Mm-hmm. And Margaret Mitchell, when she gave her book to this person that she had met who was on the train, the man started reading it and couldn't put it down and got in touch with her immediately afterwards. So Margaret Mitchell knew what she was doing or had an idea about what she was doing.
Exactly. Wow. Well, believe it or not, our time is up, and I have had a fantastic time chatting with you about your book, your expertise and knowledge with getting your book published. I wish you all the best, and I thank you so much, William, for coming on our show and sharing with us about your book, A Murder in Our Midst. Any last words for our listening audience?
Keep plugging away, and like we've said over and over, you might have thought that we were redundant. You cannot be thin-skinned. You take the criticism and you use it to your advantage. And don't give up.
And don't give up. Wow. Powerful words. Again, the title of the book is A Murder in Our Midst. It is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, and we're all major online retailers. William, thank you so much for coming on our show. I really, again, appreciate it. Make sure you contact me at thearthurchatshow@gmail.com. Again, that's thearthurchatshow@gmail.com, or have your publicist contact me when Book 2 comes out so that we can try to get you on the show.
Thank you very much, and you have a pleasant day.
You too, sweetheart. Enjoy your Wednesday. Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right, again, so the author is William Turner. The book is called A Murder in Our Midst. Again, the book is available on Amazon, currently just in the paperback format for $19.95. Again, love the cover. Great cover of the what do they call it, the little toe tag when someone has passed away. So kind of gruesome, but that lets you know that you're definitely going to be reading a great murder mystery. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to our show today. It's been a pleasure to spend our Wednesday morning with you. We will catch you back here on Saturday at 4 o'clock for our Saturday edition of the Author Chat Show. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Goodbye.